What is going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the channel today. Be sure to like the video right now. Smash the like button if you're rocking with your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. Turn on post notifications too so you don't miss a single video. Alright. Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, man. Let's see what the Philadelphia Eagles can do in 2019-2020. Obviously, expectations are sky high in Philadelphia, pretty much with their fans, and as always, with the media, all the things like that. Okay, look, I'm going to go game by game, see where I can find some wins and losses on this Philadelphia Eagles schedule in 2019-2020. We'll see where they will win games and where they will lose games. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. But before I do start, if you have missed all the other teams that I've gone over and preview, and you like other teams beside the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, whether it be college teams or other NFL teams, I have a whole college football and NFL 2019-2020 record prediction playlist on my channel. I will put links in the descriptions to both of those playlists, so that way you guys can check out some other teams and see where I have them finishing in 2019-2020. But Philadelphia, let's get back to them. Obviously, last year you won the Super Bowl. The year before that, okay, you know, big Super Bowl hangover. Okay, this past year. You obviously, you start off slow. You were 6-7, okay, at one point. You know, Carson Wentz put some really good numbers. Carson Wentz actually put up very good numbers this past year. But ultimately, he gets hurt, only limited to 11 games this past year. Fractured vertebrae, but Nick Foles steps right back in, does exactly what he did to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Absolutely dominates for 3 straight games. You squeak your way just barely into the playoffs because Kirk Cousins doesn't know how to win a big game to save his life. Okay, but either way, props to you guys. You got in the playoffs. And obviously, you know, Nick Foles wins a big playoff game at Chicago. Now, obviously, you got super lucky in that game. Cody Parkey, I don't know what you're doing. Obviously, I think the ball was blocked a little bit. But either way, you still got to seal the deal if you're in Chicago. Heartbreaking loss for the Bears. Big win versus Philadelphia. You're flying high. You know, you go to New Orleans. You have a chance to win the game. You were driving right down the field. I believe the score was 14-20, roughly, if I'm correct, something like that. And then Alshon Jeffrey near about the 15-yard line, something close to that, drops the ball. It gets intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore, and that ends the Philadelphia Eagles' chances of potentially repeating as Super Bowl champs. Now, obviously, Nick Foles is in Jacksonville now. You got Carson Wentz at the helm now. Now, to me, Carson Wentz is right outside the top 10 as far as quarterbacks go in the National Football League. He's a borderline elite quarterback to me. I'm a believer in Carson Wentz, but let's be real. Carson Wentz, you're up, boy. You up. You need to start winning some games. I mean, because let's be real. What has Carson Wentz really done? I mean, obviously, you obviously were going to be the MVP Carson Wentz if you would have won, if you would have stayed healthy a year ago, okay? Honestly, I still think the Philadelphia Eagles would have won the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz starting at the helm instead of Nick Foles in the year when they won the Super Bowl. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think Carson Wentz was that good. I think the Philadelphia Eagles were rallying behind him that much that year. But let's be real. I'm just speaking out the hypotheticals. Carson Wentz, you know, Nick Foles, your backup, won a Super Bowl instead of you. You weren't the player that beat Tom Brady in that Super Bowl. You are up next, okay? You have to produce. And honestly, if you don't win a Super Bowl throughout your career, I'm going to say it's going to be a major disappointment in my opinion. So I'm just going to say this right now. Carson Wentz, it's no more excuses. Okay, no more. Okay? You're coming out. It's your second time coming off a major injury. You should know how to respond out that. You got weapons. You got a talented team around you. You're up, okay? And let's be real. What big game have you won throughout your entire career? You haven't won any big games, okay? Just telling you the facts, okay? But either way, look, I'm going to tell you right now. To me, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most talented team in the National Football League. I look at defensive line. You got Fletcher Cox. You add a Malik Jackson in the offseason. Okay, that defensive line is very, very good. Added Vinny Curry. Wide receivers. Very elite wide receiver core. Deshaun Jackson comes back to Philadelphia. He should be a great deep threat for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz loves to throw them bombs to wide receivers. You know, just throwing up to Deshaun Jackson, get vertical. Deshaun Jackson should be a difference maker for this team. Alshon Jeffrey is a great wide receiver. He and Deshaun Jackson complement each other very well. You obviously drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who's a very good wide receiver out of Stanford. I like him a lot. You still got Nelson Aguilar, okay? And you still got Zach Ertz, too, who at worst is the second best tight end in all of football. So you got Zach Ertz, you got Dallas Goedert. I mean, you got elite wide receivers, you got great tight ends. You got a good offensive line. You drafted Andre Dillard out of Washington State. You got 3 or 4 talented running backs. I mean, you added Jordan Howard in the offseason. You drafted Miles Sanders. I mean, you still got Corey Clement on this team. And heck, Josh Adams is your 4th string running back potentially. And he's a very good player. So, when I look at this Philadelphia team, secondary, a little bit of question marks. But, I think this Philadelphia secondary, last year they struggled. But I think that was due to some injuries last year, okay? So, I'm a believer in Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to have a special year this year. They're the most talented team on paper to me in the entire National Football League. So, can you win a Super Bowl this year? Can you win a lot of games? Well, let's see. Okay. First 4 games of your season. Redskins at home, at Falcons, Lions at home, at Packers, at my Green Bay Packers. Ooh, that should get dicey. All right. Let's see here. I think you start the season actually 2-2. A little bit of a slow start. Now look, you'll beat Washington, you'll beat the Lions, but I think you'll lose at Atlanta, and I think you'll lose at Green Bay. I'll explain myself why. Look, Atlanta, you've had their number the past couple of games, okay? Obviously, you beat them in Lincoln Financial Field in the playoffs 2 years ago, okay? Matt Ryan had a chance to win the game in the back of the end zone to Julio Jones, failed to convert. This past year in Philadelphia, again, pretty much the same situation. Matt Ryan 4th down to Julio Jones, can't convert. The Falcons have played you tough. But I'm here to tell you, the Falcons, when healthy, are one of the 10 most talented teams in all the NFL, in my opinion. They had a ton of injuries last year that derailed them. I think they're a borderline playoff team. I think Atlanta responds this year. If it was in Philadelphia, I'd pick you guys. But it's at Atlanta, a tough place to play. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan had an MVP-type season last year, even though no one talked about it. I think that you catch a tough loss at the Atlanta Falcons. Detroit Lions, you'll win that game. You're a better team than them. And then at Green Bay, you're going to lose to my Packers this year. Look, you're a better team than us, but it's a Thursday night game. It's in Green Bay. And Aaron Rodgers just doesn't lose very many home games. Obviously, we bring in Matt LaFleur as a new head coach. We add to our defense. This is the best defense we've had since our Super Bowl run. And anytime you're facing Aaron Rodgers on the road, it's going to be a tough outing for you. Now, you're a better team than us. But I think Green Bay potentially, my Packers can win 9, 10, 11 games potentially this year. I think that there will be some wholesome changes to our offense. I didn't like Mike McCarthy at all. And look, it's the best defense we have since Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. A ticked-off, healthy Aaron Rodgers who's looking to prove all the haters wrong this year after having a bad season last year. I think you lose a tight game at Green Bay. But okay, coming up the next couple games, Jets at home, at Vikings, at Cowboys, at Bills. I think you start to catch some steam. Okay, you'll win versus the Jets. You'll beat the Vikings. You'll lose at Dallas. I think you'll beat the Bills. Look, the Jets are an improved team, but they're nowhere near the talent level of Philadelphia. Philadelphia pretty much is elite at every level. Okay, they're better than the New York Jets at every level of football, whether it be running back, wide receiver. I understand they got Le'Veon Bell, but you have about 3 or 4 starting running backs on your own team, okay? Wide receiver, offensive line, you're a better team. You win that game. You get them at home. Minnesota Vikings on the road. Now, this potentially could be a loss, but I gave you the win. They beat you last year, but I think you get revenge in this game. People don't take into account revenge enough when they talk about football games, okay? Look, you're just as good of a team, if not better than Minnesota. You have the better quarterback. You have by far the better offensive line. I'm not going to say you have a better duo of wide receivers, but you definitely have a better wide receiver core. Your wide receiver depth is better. You have better tight ends. I just think you're the better team. It's in Minnesota. I could see a loss here, but I just think you'll win that game. But then heading to Dallas the next week, these are 2 top defenses you'll face in Minnesota and Dallas back-to-back weeks. Unfortunately, I think you'll lose at Dallas the very next week. It's tough to play and to beat 2 back-to-back defenses that are very good in the league back-to-back weeks, okay? Now, obviously, the Cowboys swept you last year. The Cowboys, to me, are loaded. They have a lot of talent. Now, I'm not a huge believer in Dak Prescott, but dag on it, I'm pretty much a believer in every other unit on that football team. They got Amari Cooper. They added Randall Cobb in the offseason, okay? They have Jason Witten, who they added in the offseason for a tight end, okay? Look, they have an elite defense. And Carson Wentz, he struggled versus the Cowboys. I think he's only beaten Dak Prescott one time in his whole career. So, I think Dallas is the closest thing to a good team as you guys. It's in Dallas. I think you'll split with them this year. Spoiler alert, okay? I think it's a tough place to play. You obviously did get swept by them last year. Not saying that Dallas is a better team than you, but it's a tough place to play. You'll lose that game. Then you'll beat the Bills at home on the road. Look, Buffalo's a decent upcoming team, but nowhere near the level of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, next couple games. Bears at home, bye week. Patriots at home. Seattle at home. At Dolphins. I think you'll beat the Bears. I think you'll come into your bye week. I think you'll actually lose to the Patriots. I think you'll beat the Seahawks, and I think you'll win at the Miami Dolphins. Now look, the Bears, this could get interesting, but you get them at home this time. I understand you almost lost them in the playoffs last year. But again, I think the Bears were a little bit of a beneficiary of an easy schedule last year. I have to see what Mr. Trubisky is in his second full season starting before I can determine that he's a very good, competent quarterback. Obviously, they got Khalil Mack. They got some very good defensive players. But this Philadelphia offense is going to be better than it was last year. And they still found a way to beat Chicago last year. You get them at home this year. I think you'll win that game. Now, coming off a bye, I really tossed and turned with this game. I started to pick you in this game, but I just think the Patriots are going to be hyped for this game. I really do. I actually think the Patriots are coming off a bye to play you guys as well. You get them at home, I get it. But I just think that the Patriots are going to take this game personal. You beat them in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And honestly, every time Bill Belichick faces a quarterback that he's not that... I'm going to say it this way. Whenever you face Bill Belichick for the first time as a quarterback, he throws a lot of things at you that you just don't normally see. He confuses young quarterbacks. His record versus young quarterbacks is very, very good. Tom Brady's still playing at an elite high level. They are the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. They added to their wide receiver core in N'Keal Harry. They got Sonny and Michelle. They always have an elite offensive line and a pretty good defense. Stephon Gilmore, a very, very good cornerback. I think that the Patriots just barely squeak out a win at Philadelphia in a revenge game. But I think you're still a better team than the Patriots. You'll beat the Seahawks at home. Now, this is a tricky game in my opinion. The Seahawks are coming off a bye in this game. But I do think coming off a tough home loss to the Patriots, you're just a better team than Seattle. You'll win that game. I could see Russell Wilson pulling a game out of his hat. But at the same time, he's against a more stacked team. Carson Wentz is on a better team. I think Carson Wentz plays well in this game. And I think you roll in this game. I think you win that game. And at Miami, you'll win that game. Obviously, like I said, they're not a very good team. Weather could be a little bit of an issue, but you'll win that game in my opinion. Now, the last couple of games of your season. Giants at Redskins. Cowboys at Giants. Oh, I didn't even notice that. 4 divisional games to finish out your season. Can you go undefeated in that stretch? And my answer to you is yes. I have the Philadelphia Eagles finishing the season with only 4 losses, winning 12 games. The Giants at home. Look, the Giants, they've improved. They've improved their offensive line. They've improved their secondary. They did lose OBJ, though. Eli Manning, to me, is a shot fighter. He's a great all-time quarterback. Eli Manning, all-time great quarterback. Okay? Definitely slept on, in my opinion, as far as all-time rankings go. But right now, Eli Manning is barely a starting level quarterback. I'm just going to be real with you. You're going to win that game at home. At the Redskins, look, Dwayne Haskins potentially is going to be starting by this time. I'm a believer in Dwayne Haskins. But again, it's his first year. He's playing against a better team. The Philadelphia Eagles, to me, are better than the Redskins in all levels of football, in my opinion. You'll win that game pretty easily, in my opinion. Now, the Cowboys at home. This is going to probably be one of the best games of the year. And I think that this might be for the division title, potentially. I have you winning in your house versus Dallas. I don't think you'll get swept by them this year. I think you're just too good of a team. I still think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, at least from a talent perspective, okay? I think that, look, to me, Doug Peterson is a better coach than what's his name, Jason Garrett. To me, Philadelphia is a more experienced team. They're a better team. Offensive line, pretty good. Defensive line, very good. Secondary, not as good as Dallas, but all levels of football, you match up pretty well with Dallas. This comes down to who's at home. And I think that, honestly, Dallas and Philadelphia are the two best teams in the NFC on paper this year. And I got them splitting with each other, and I think you win a tough game at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. Barely. I understand they have Ezekiel Elliott, but you have a good run defense, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to say this right now. Do not sleep on this Giants game on the road. This is a trap game. This is probably going to be your biggest win of the whole season. Come off a win versus the Cowboys. Now, maybe you have the game. Maybe you have the division wrapped up by this point. Maybe you're going to rest players. I don't know. But, hey, at the New York Giants, don't sleep on this game. It's a potential trap game. Teams usually, when they play a very good game, when they play a very tough, emotional game, come down to earth the next week. But I think Philadelphia's just too talented. And I have you beating the New York Giants on the road. So, in conclusion, the Philadelphia Eagles, to me, are the most talented team in all of football. Carson Wentz is my pick to win NFL MVP this year, considering the fact that he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, the fact that he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in all of football, the fact he has an elite offensive line but to protect him, the fact that he has elite wide receivers, the fact he has 3 or 4 running backs he can dump the ball off and hand the ball off to. This Philadelphia Eagles team, to me, is just elite. I love everything about this Philadelphia Eagles team. Now, I could see you losing to Minnesota. I could see you losing I could see you beating Green Bay. Okay, I could see you winning some games and losing some games you probably shouldn't win or lose. But again, I think Philadelphia at the right time last year was peaking. And And when they were right last year, when they got fully over that Super Bowl hangover or whatever, I think that they are the best team in all of football. I'm a huge believer in this Philadelphia team. I like them a lot. I just think that they're the best team pound for pound in the NFL. All units. The only question I really have is Carson Wentz's health. Can he win big games? And their linebackers. That's the only thing. The inside linebacker position, a little bit of a downfall for the Eagles. But I think they're better than Dallas. I think they're better than potentially Minnesota. Better than Chicago. Better than any team in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles, to me, are the best team in all of football. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win a lot of games. I think this is a special year for Carson Wentz, who will have a chip on his shoulder. And they're going to win a lot of games. That's a wrap for this video. Philadelphia Eagles fans, talk to me. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Be sure to smash the like button right now if you're rocking with your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos like this weekly and almost every single day if I can. It's my favorite thing in the world to do to make YouTube content for you guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the channel today. One thing I will say is please help this channel grow. Share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share on Instagram, all that good stuff. I want this channel to grow. I want to become one of the next great sports analysts and broadcasters in the world, okay? When I get older, that's what I want to do for a full living. I want to have my own studio, want to have potentially my own network, or work for a big-time network of my own. You know, potentially, maybe ESPN, maybe Fox Sports. So just help this channel grow. Just tell your friends about the Juice Alert and my channel and me, Ghiman Mckinney, aka Juice. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and I'm Ghost. Have a blessed day. All you guys. I'm out.